Alright, round 3. And guess what? It's
Yep,
it's a power
Mark.
colony again.
Yes, it is.
I will say that we did not have any abysmal map yet, so that's refreshing. All of them.
It's all been workable.
Yeah, the first one was but it was still okay.
There's interesting iron silicon combo tiles on the east of the map. And
Yeah.
there's no pirates. There are magnetic storms, but I've never really seen anyone commit to them. They're difficult to use.
Robot is probably okay there. I would be tempted to think about Scientist. I don't know if I would actually commit, but it's an interesting play. Sometimes interesting plays, which is they're just more exciting than good plays. I will say that I would not found exactly where G's found it. I found a little bit to the edge. You sort of have more territory this way. You're not blocked by the cliff, and
yeah, I would have moved north a tile and what's it called? Claimed that low iron, low silicon with a steel mill, and just been the north side of that.
I would honestly
closer to the aluminium and so on.
I would honestly consider finding adjacent to aluminium and just claiming 2 tiles eventually for aluminium and then transitioning out of it without having to ship it
I
early.
had a scavenger, and I immediately assumed that it was the patch of carbon that was obvious, but it's not. It's where it is.
There are some advantages to this spot. So you're closer to aluminium, you're closer to water. I don't know if it outweighs the obvious problem of just having way too little carbon.
Carbon was cheap, so it could be that he's going to transition those tiles into something else and grab carbon later. I would actually really like that play.
That would be a very interesting play. I'm on board with that. And then you also have these backup carbons because there are nukes on the market, so that is definitely something to be considered. And early aggression immediately freezing the power. That is something.
That's scavenger, upgrade quick, grab the high resources, freeze out the opposition.
Glass is only half price and food is excellent, so there's going to be quite a bit of black market happening because people do have cash this game early on.
So Vamp is got. Check out Vamp's location. Going for 2 steel and then saving up to get a geothermal on
I don't
HQ2.
like that.
No.
Yeah, we've talked about
selling
it.
Food. No, there's Spry's making food as well. But certainly making 2 food with only a low tile.
Yeah, I would prefer. At this point, I would first just unclaim this tile immediately and put another water pump.
Power's getting up there though.
Yeah, power is getting up.
Should really be. Yeah. Should certainly be gooning it. Yes, excellent. Yeah, I probably would have left it and probably grabbed another aluminium at this point.
Or aluminium, yes. Water or aluminium is good. Especially since you probably kind of want to deny G's the aluminium tile. So 2 things. So first of all, Spry did do the move that you talked about. So he actually had that in mind. That's I like that a lot.
Yeah, this is next level. I enjoy that way too much. Actually,
that's big props from me. The only problem with that was that he did not found last, which means that someone could have crushed his carbon there and taken it. So it was a risky play.
Someone else could have gone scav.
Oh, and Cheesecake is moving for a super early patent labs. It's not protected, so that's a problem.
Not protected
for another 12 seconds. He desperately needs to grab a goon. Chems are really cheap, so he could afford to do it. The question is it worth it? Is it really a good decision to do it? What exactly do you want? and you want superconductor, by the way. It's pretty obvious, I think, that you need to worry about power as quickly as possible. Superconductor is cheap. Yeah, that's a free mutiny, that's good. You can get another goon for cheap enough.
Alright, so Spry has gone from good decisions to making electronics.
Well, water creeped up. Electronics are not good at all, not in the slightest, in part because of the expensive aluminium, which people are going to start producing insanely as soon as Cheesecake gets teleportation. So the idea of Cheesecake was to get 2 aluminium tiles apparently and get teleportation, which I can get behind. It's a play. I don't know if it's the kind of play I would prioritize, but it's a play.
How do you feel about OGs, its Bs, the triangle of wind turbines where there's a very weak turbine at the back? I always think about doing it, and I usually don't.
I remember trying to do the math behind it at one point. That's the only time I've ever done math for Off-World. I forget. I don't math. I think it's not a good play. I don't definitely disagree with mutinying that time. Like, Spry. Maybe he thought it's a hologram, but holograms are not there. I think it's better to have a line of buildings.
Yeah, mutinied a tile that bring you 80 of power money.
As opposed to... Well, it's the only tile that isn't frozen, I guess, but you could also take your tile back for probably much more value. But yeah,
the vamp is burning through her power.
Yeah, this. Everyone seems to be stalling. Like, no one is hurrying to get the upgrades, which kind of retroactively justifies the geothermal play by vampires, and similarly for Cheesecake. Unfortunately, Cheesecake beyond teleportation is not planning to get anything, and frankly, Cam's crept up. And
so Cheesecake, have you seen his aluminium?
Yeah, I have. That's what I was talking about. That's insane aluminium, which he will be able to transition. The big problem with this aluminium is, though, that as a robot you really don't need that much. Honestly, I would possibly have hoped to skip it, but it's difficult because no one else really allow you to do that. But I think I would still try to skip it as a robot, even though it was over $60 at one point.
I think Spry is shutting himself out of the game with his what's it called? Secondary production buildings. Both those glass kilns are losing him money. He hasn't got any. He's just picked up silicon, a low tide.
That being said, he is an HQ level ahead of everyone. He's not making money at the moment.
You're going to let them all catch up if you're going to start making glass and electronics when carbon and silicon are quite expensive now.
Yep, definitely. Also, you're acquiring debt. So he's making good power with the wind turbines, but you have to realize that he's spending quite a bit on shipments. Fuel is really expensive and really good to produce, by the way. Probably the best resource on the map. Actually, without adjacency, it's over $100 per second. It's clearly the best resource. He's going into camps which, without adjacency, are losing 61. Cams will rise as the pet labs keep running, but fuel. Is
anyone making? No
nope.
one is. No one's got a reactor.
Vampires and Gs are both making power money, by the way, and power finally crashed, so it only lasted this long. Which unfortunately means that Cheesecake, who committed to 2 geothermal plants, is a little bit behind now. He's ahead of Vampires in upgrades, and he also stole a really potentially useful geothermal for Vampires that would have basically crushed power forever and ever and ever. But
Vamp's. I mean, I don't know if Vamp would have even wanted it. She's got the geothermal with the
oh,
HQ connection.
holy!
That thing.
Apparently, there's also another geo.
That's all the way down the
Yeah,
bottom. Yeah, and she's also got a solar panel on water. I assume she wants to use
yeah.
later on because
Uh,
she got slant drilling. Yeah, did she end up getting it? Yeah, you did. And then water engine. Oh, this is going to be interesting.
I don't like the solar panel actually. Power is dead. You actually want to transition it back because you're running a deficit. Water is going to creep back up. As soon as
Yes.
people start hitting those life support resources, which by the way Spryfly is fixing his territory, moving into 3 reactors. Cam Refinery is still losing money, but reactors are operational now. But for vampires, yeah, as soon as people start making more and more, water is going to start moving up and up. Although,
Yeah. That solar panel came out at the peak of the power, and it's crashed in the time it's taken to get out there and construct.
yeah, that's one thing you have to consider. Just the amount of time it takes to ship a building and then to construct the building. And you have a geothermal with superconductors, so do you really need
And you've
that?
got another geothermal out there as well.
Yeah, at this point, power colony or not, power is not getting back. I'm going to make this questionable call because
There's
usually power does come back at the end of the game when everyone is running all the advanced
yeah,
buildings which consume a lot of power. But I
would
don't think
be
it's coming back at all.
relying. Yeah, we'd be relying on OGs to transition out of those 3 tiles that are making him very little money. And again, Spryfly sitting on 3 tiles that are making him basically nothing at this point. And they're away from his HQ. It's
If I was bees, I would be terrified to make this transition, but I would still make it.
I'd make it in a heartbeat. How much is he sitting
Oh,
on?
clearly you have
He's
not.
got
You have not lived the life of a power robot who transitions out of power at one point and then finds himself in DDET in a couple days.
He's got an optimization setup, and he's put it on top of one of his amazing combo tiles.
True, but oh, he's actually HQ5 now, so yeah.
I'm gonna be really sad if he wins despite those 3 tiles. I actually don't know who's going to take it. I feel like, yeah, the power tiles. I feel like Vamp might.
I don't know. I kind of like where he's at, but at the same time, his territory is not going to get better, and he's actually claiming an extra water tile, which I strongly disagree with. Water is a bit scarce, but
it's about to not be. Vamp is planning on selling it down so that she never uses fuel again.
The black market is open for business.
I assume that's why she's got 2 low tiles and a high tile elsewhere, and she's got 6 additional claims. One of them's probably going to be used next to the high tile. That much water, if she sells it down and fuel stays high. It's also going to be quite nice for off-worlds if she gets that far. She hasn't got that much steel. Really should have gone into more steel. I'd usually get like 3 or 4 steel mills on expansive. Just to
definitely
help
want more.
catch up.
At this point, you want to probably buy the bullet and transition 2 of the reactors behind the geothermal into more steel. And people are defending themselves. They have quite a bit of money because the markets are pretty high. Also, big mistake out of Vampires is not selling fuel, not just auto-selling it. This stockpile is continuously
devaluing.
Diminishing.
Also, no one's nuking out Spry's carbon.
At this point, it's probably a bit too late.
It's too late now.
No one's
but
generally nuking anything enough.
No, there was
yeah, there was a nuke on the
high tile of
yeah,
Spry. Yeah, which was quite sad because Vamp got what's it called? Slant drilling with those two low tiles, obviously aiming at taking advantage of it.
Right. So this water pump is a little bit more justified by G's now that nukes happened. And honestly, I think that he should sell out of. Yeah, he's selling out a little bit, and he probably should sell out because did he optimize water? Okay, you don't. It's overkilling water. I find the optimization on water was just unnecessary. He's consuming quite a bit by making life support for everyone. It seems he's actually the only person making food, and he's not selling food, which is big props to him. It's also getting an off-world going. It's protected. It's going to be hit hard, but Black Market is getting up there in price, so it should be defensible. So it's probably a good time to move into an off-world.
His network virus is still really cheap as well. Whenever there's network virus in the game, I feel like you can't be the first to get an off-world. Someone else needs to do it first.
You can be, but you have to. At this point, if I was him, I would make the. First of all, I would buy a mutiny, and I would not take back the optimization center. I would save it. And then he just try to buy mutinies and goons. He instead buys a goon, which I'd rather.
Be countered by a 3,000 buck network virus. This is what I mean. If there's network viruses, no one buys them until they want to pop goons.
Yeah, I would much rather prefer to just drag the price of the only two offensive black market items up. So yes, it's very vulnerable, but there are only two effects that can attack it. So you have a point, but it's only so long that you need to defend it for. Eventually, it becomes just unfeasible, especially considering just how weak off-worlds are. And the interesting point is that he transitioned out of food because of the storm, and he's shipping food as opposed to chemicals. So he's producing neither, so it's... Well, actually, chemicals are now about as bad. He's also trying to make a run on vampires, which I like.
I think it's what I would be doing. And also, Vamp is doing chemical plays. She's got a hacker away surrounded by 4 officers. No one else is... Oh no, there is chemicals being made. By
Cheesecake, I'm not sure when he moved into those. He's auto-selling them though, so he's not really going to properly punish that play. One argument may be against buying into vampires. The only one I can see is that you noticed that Cheesecake got an off-world, so maybe it's good to actually shift attention, but I don't know if it matters too much. Because an expansive player is just going to be an excellent subsidiary, even without an off-world. So it should, and actually, vampires has an off-world.
Building it next to the
yep. I like that play a lot. No dynamites again. No
dynamites.
No real.
It doesn't have thinking machines either, so there's no reason to have it close to your base.
No real way to
I'd
punch
think about yeah, if you maybe put the hacker array there so it looked like something different and then cancelled it. It's the only way to get holograms this game.
No, well, the hologram doesn't stay on the hacker array tile. If you transition out of the hacker array, the hologram disappears.
Oh, that's so sad. I always assumed it stayed and never actually did it myself.
Yeah, no, the game is smarter than you. You can't trick it like that. The only problem with an off-world like that is that it's the top off-world of the map, so you can reliably expect black market effects to rain down on it, even if there are no dynamites.
So, how do you feel about no one having any carbon claims except for Spry and carbon? Well, it was at 160.
Well,
Vamp has carbon scrubbing.
Yeah, that's probably part of the reason why I would imagine. Well, no, Dry Spry has a ton of carbon. I'm not sure how it happened that it moved up so high up. I guess just Cheesecake's production was this insane. Maybe just building chem refineries, which cost carbon, is also expensive or something.
Make room for the profits.
Unless someone built wind turbines, which I don't know. No one did, thankfully. So, interesting point. This game. Well, no. Cheesecake goes for for two silicon quarries. Blues would be very sad about this. This is basically his shtick at this point, that you should almost never go for two silicon quarries in a game.
The off-world market is finished and
And sadly, I have to agree. As much as I love silicon and claws, it's just too much. So that's essentially one wasted claim for Cheesecake, which could have been something useful, like an optimization center. I will say though that in previous couple games, Cheesecake was struggling a little bit for late game plan, was a little bit behind on the advanced buildings. This time he has two off-worlds. He's more or less on par with everybody else, though he has a useless patent lab, and he actually could have scrapped the patent lab and built the off-world underneath the thing. Interesting that G's sold out of vampires or something. So I'm not sure why that happened.
I think it's because Fry is going after him. Yeah, he's
maybe. Yeah, okay.
fighting back.
That is...
which is good for Vamp, because Vamp was going after Cheesecake, and I didn't enjoy that at all. I thought it was the easiest way for Vamp to hand the game to Bees.
That was a mistake, and it was quickly realized that it's not something that should be happening.
Goons are at 110,000, and $5,000 network virus just popped on Bees' off-world.
Yeah, at this point,
it really is so
you
sad.
don't defend it.
No, it's...
Whoever bought the one for 70k, actually, I strongly disagree with that one. At that point, you should have bought a mutiny or a power surge to just make it less viable to attack it in the first place instead of... Oh my god, who did that? Who did that? Jeez.
Yeah, that's...
Jeez. Stop it.
Yeah.
That was possibly the game there. Actually, he still has a ton of money, so I guess maybe not. And Spryfly is panicking and buying into everyone else, trying to raise his stock price, which is not going to save him. It might...
It's interesting that Chemicals is the launch at the moment with what's it called? Carbon, the way that it is. It's possibly what's going to win it for Vampire.
It's not really the launch. Food has crashed, and water is actually exceptional.
People have got it shift clicked on from when it was higher than all of the...
It's the highest actual value, like base value for launch, so...
I was about to say, if no one bids on this auction, holy god. Really? Oh my god. Alright.
That's just inventiveness.
Quite a tile.
I have to say, G's is probably going to push into a purchase very soon. He has the cash. If he cancels the launches, which he probably shouldn't, because... I mean, I would consider cancelling so that I can purchase Spryfly before he sells the stock. But Spryfly seems to be buying into stock, which means that you actually want to wait and let him buy more of that stock for you.
He's buying Vamp stuff. I don't.
Yeah, this is.
Again, it's an easy way to. Ooh. How is G's in so much debt? Oh my lord! So I saw power start creeping up, and I was like, "Man, it's actually going to work out." You know, your prediction is coming true. But
well,
I didn't
my
expect
prediction
it to get like this.
Was that this is a thing that normally happens, but won't happen this game. So my prediction was actually completely wrong. But
oh god, he's consuming, what is that? 1.8. 1.8, and it's 385.
Well,
It's a lot of debt.
Your stock is being sold.
Apparently,
He's
off-worlds are
selling out of
really
vamp?
consuming a lot of power.
And start production.
Yeah, it's curious that Vampires only now is making any money on power. Because an optimization went through, yeah. So, power...
This has been a very interesting game for stock purchases. Because I don't know, as Cheesecake, I'd probably go for Vampirus. Because I think Vampirus is going to get the money to buy Bees before Bees does, maybe?
Here's the thing, though. If you buy into B's SAB, you're going... Okay, one more stock lost, so, but you can recover some of your stock back. And you can recover a lot of Spryfly. So I think it's more beneficial to try to buy into B's who... this is a very complicated game, but this happens, so... The problem with this
That was
is...
shift clicking from...
Yeah,
Okay.
I think... I'm okay with the shift
Oh,
click
man.
there, I think.
Just didn't
Because...
realize how much cash Cheesecake was sitting.
Yeah,
So
he had
in a
to
power
now
game,
900k.
Cheesecake has perpetual motion
Oh, he got that. Yeah, that's
and cold fusion for that matter.
Make room
yeah,
for the profits.
yeah. That explains a lot. Well, obviously they don't work together, but still.
Oh, they do.
Well, no, they do.
Consume half as much water.
Oh,
I'm
you
pretty
do.
sure.
You do too. Wow. Okay. For some reason I thought you don't. But yeah, so now it's actually a much closer race than you might imagine because Vampirus, excellent sub. Spryfly, excellent sub. So whose sub is better?
Vamp is definitely better. It's expansive, more claims, and it's also 2 off-worlds to 1.
The problem is that G's actually almost has to buy because he just had that upper hand in the amount of cash he had on his hand when Cheesecake folded into the buy. So he actually has the purchase.
Have you seen his debt?
Oh, it's a good Game Slayer level of debt.
It's immaculate. Oh, dang!
And that's what? Apparently a
Yeah.
launch went through. Yeah,
He had the money. He should have cancelled his launches.
Yep. he did. This was really interesting. Until there was so much going at the end, but I think we did a poor job just trying to keep up with
Check out
everything.
Spryfly. Check out what the AI for Spryfly did.
Oh, it's just classic AI for you. And just to show how actually, Cheesecake was not auto-selling silicon. So one thing we probably missed is if we take a look at balance sheet, at production and sales, Cheesecake got 217,000 of silicon. So that means that Spryfly's sub AI went heavily into solar panels, and this stupid double quarry.
A lot of money.
He has actually won him the game, so I guess the lesson of today is that whatever I say is
Definitely
absolutely wrong.
2 silicon quarries. That's too funny.
This is probably I don't know how you can top off this game. This is possibly my favorite game of the tournament.
Yeah,
Without even seeing the rest of them.
I feel like I need to go through it again to actually see how what happened ended up happening.
Yeah. One more thing is that if you remember when I said that I am terrified to transition out of wind turbines when power is at $1 in this game because it's going to creep up, and it's going to creep up very quickly. So,
but you can always swap back. Those 3 tiles will always be good wind turbine tiles, and
you can, but it's just by the time you swap back, you might find yourself in sea levels of debt, and then you can just spiral out because, again, you can see he was running a deficit 2.45 power with the 3 turbines. Although again, if only one of these turbines was maybe more than 0.7 power per second, then maybe he would have
Yeah.
been much better, because Spryfly's wind turbines were making like 4 power or so, whereas G's had barely over 3.
We really aren't seeing much optimization center use, which I'm surprised by.
Well, Spryfly died having only 2 optimizations in. Vampirus only got 2 on power.
Yeah, she got the 2 and then stopped
Yep.
using that center, swapped it for a
No,
Rockwell.
she was bought out, so this hobby I moved out of it. So yeah, optimization center is really good if you want to move into it early. Late in the game, not so much, because there's just very little time left for the optimization to happen and to be impactful and to pay for itself. So it's in a way it's similar to what I said about Offworlds. You want to plan for it ahead of time and just think of when I'm going to build that optimization center, how am I going to optimize, what am I going to optimize first, etc. It's a lot easier to manage than hackers, but it still requires quite a bit of that attention. And there's still one more game going, so we can talk a little bit more. Trying to
that hacker away was used 4 times and then never
I did
again.
not notice what it was used for.
3 power shorts and a chem short. I remember the chem short.
Yeah, I remember the chem short. So the problem with power shorts is that unfortunately, Vampirus. So that's part of the reason why power was where it was. I guess without 3 power shorts, it wouldn't have been this awful. So I guess I wasn't entirely super wrong, but yeah, Vampirus wasn't really making enough power, even with the superconductor. That was 6 power per second before upgrades. And I remember looking at one point before the first upgrade went through, and they were just producing exactly 0 power per second. As in, they were just covering the costs. So I have to question the power shorts, especially with the robot with having cold fusion and 2 geothermals, and essentially no deaths. I believe I remember Cheesecake certainly making a lot more. Basically, Cheesecake was did not have any debt before Vampirus didn't at the end of the game.
Yeah.
So that also is a thing that went
have
in his
a look
favor.
at the resource prices graph. Check out the silicon to see when the AI decided it was a good idea to hand the game to Cheesecake.
Yeah. What is it? It's like it wasn't as low. It was like 50 at one point or something, and then it's boom, just 150.
Above 150, yeah.
And then the power didn't drop, so boom, it's like 175 or something. Well, props to Cheesecake not selling silicon, I guess.
Yeah.
It's not entirely luck.
The entire time would have. Yeah.
Stockpiles can be strong, and stockpiling as a strategy is a bit overlooked, I think. Just having a massive pile of stuff, and then you can move out of a resource. So he had teleportation. See, if he had this much silicon, I would have probably transitioned these tiles into whatever, some life support or something, which is very awkward, but you can do that.
What do you think of going scientist just to the right of the colony where the iron, silicon, the geothermal? It's close-ish to the water. Because chems were cheap to start with. You could have rushed teleportation fairly readily.
I guess. I'm struggling to remember what was expensive. I think food was expensive, and was steel expensive?
I can't remember, unfortunately. Can probably find out off
See,
resource price.
problem with this found.
Steel was 120, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it can
And
work.
food was 120.
The problem with this found is that as a scientist, you're consuming a lot of power early on, and you don't really have an easy and simple transition into power, because as same as a robot, you have to pay the full price for geothermal. So it can be difficult.
Could have done
to
a
manage.
triangle of very strong wind turbines on top of the hill.
Yeah, I guess.
And change that later. It's very difficult to. There's not much shipping there, and it's difficult to catch them with a magnetic storm, even if you don't get.
No one's really going to bother, I think.
It was bought though. I don't remember seeing it, but someone bought magnetic storms.
Yeah, if you're planning to go for teleportation, then what does it matter even? Yeah, you can do that. You can do that. It's an interesting found. I think it's very viable, but it's also difficult to play because you need to make sure that you get the patent lab. There are no holograms, so you have to just brute force protect it. You have to ship food early on, and food would be attacked for sure. You have to.
Would be attacked for sure. But you might not even go into food at all. With steel starting strong, you can get enough cash from that upgrade.
Yeah, you would get you wouldn't get moving it immediately, but on HQ level 2, I think I would go for food.
I might even leave it on level 2. If you started next to both the iron and the silicon, you could get down some glass just to ensure that you get onto the next level.
I remember that.
Yeah, so. No, that was
Yeah, if glass was double price, I would absolutely be a fan of this found. Okay, GG. Sorry, GG Cheesecake.